Hello and welcome to our brick tip number 36. I noticed looking through our catalog of videos so far, we have not done a lot on doing different types of buildings. So I am going to be talking about roofs today. A few people had asked me about different ways to build roofs, so this is the perfect opportunity. Now we have an assortment of pieces here, and these are a very small selection of the different types of pieces you can use for roofs. Of course, we have our slopes and plates. We have a duckbill here. We have the headlight piece that I used in the waterfalls, if you watch that video. We have some rounded slopes and regular tiles, and of course there's a different variety of cheese slopes and cylinders, etc. Don't let your imagination get stifled when doing roofs. I have seen some really interesting and crazy designs for doing these, including using chairs turned upside down to create the shingle effects. So without further ado, I'm going to go and I'm going to start showing you some simple techniques to do roofs and then one or two more complex ones. So let's clear this out of the way and get started. So this is the first example I'm going to show you. One thing when you're first starting to build and you notice that your roofs keep collapsing, a lot of people take the option of putting bricks down and then putting slopes on top of that and building a great big huge structure. Well, this technique I think is fabulous for the fact that it just simplifies that process so much. You take your standard stair piece, you run some 1x platforms along that, and then your slopes will stagger perfectly going up those stairs. It's a great technique, super easy, super simple, and really will lighten up your structure. And those stair rails look very much like beams, and if you wanted to celebrate those and make them stand out in your design, that would be a great idea. So here's another example using the stair piece. A lot of times when you're first into building those slopes, they don't quite look like roofing tiles. You might want to make slate roofs. You might want to have that stagger in your shingles like you can see on houses, and slopes might not cut it. So you're going to have to think a little bit outside the box on how to get that staggering of the shingles, and especially getting a different slope than possibly those sloped bricks offer you. So this is one option with using those stair pieces, is you take an eyelet piece and a rod. You put a couple of these flat tiles on with a couple of clips, and you're going to have to space this a little bit with putting some extra plates on. But then when you stagger them like so, you put one on the top on this side, and then you set the next one in on one stud in, and you can keep going back and forth like that. You'll get this staggered effect. And the nice thing about using this method with the clips is you can adjust your slope as much as you want. If you want a really shallow slope, that's not hard to do. If you want to create a steeper slope, you're going to have to stagger your two levels a bit more so you can get more of an angle on that. But there's a really easy, simple option. Speaking of staggering, this is a technique that uses jumpers to do that effect. So the jumpers are going to push up the slopes by a half stud. It's very easy to do. Again, you take a plate, you put your jumpers on it, or put your slopes on it, sorry. And when you put that on there, that brings everything up half a stud. Now I've accentuated the staggering here because rather than actually putting another plate down to compensate for the spacing, I've just went ahead and put that plate right on the larger plate. So next I'm going to talk about using this headlight or grill piece to make our roof. If you remember during that waterfall video, I showed you how to stagger these so that you get that nice curved effect, and this as well is perfect for doing a roof. So I'll show you how I did that. Again, you just take your grill piece, you take a plate and a tile, and if you put those together, you get the exact spacing that you need. Now, if you take a few 3x2 plates and you lock them together in step like this, and then you take some 2x4 plates and you step them up like so. When you lock these together and you add your grill pieces on, you will see that you get a perfect stepped effect. And then if you take your other series of plates and you put those down, you can see we get that perfect staggering. And again, the staggering is not just up and down, or not just top to bottom, but you also get a little bit of staggering up and down. So that's how you could do that one. And the last one I'm going to discuss is a little more complicated, but I think it's a really great tip to do some different terracotta style roofs. So I see a lot of different terracotta roofs using these cylinders or these cones, and they look great. They really, really do the job beautifully. I've seen a lot of Asian style buildings with those. I saw a technique, I had only seen it on LDD though, so I didn't know if it would actually work. So I gave it a try myself, and it is using clips and eyelet pieces to flip the cone pieces so that you get them going in either direction. And surprisingly enough, it works really well. It leaves a very small gap, you can see, but that fits together almost perfect. I think this would be another great idea. And the nice thing with this is the way they've designed it is that with the clip and the eyelet on top, you can have a nice decorative feature going along the seam of the roof. So those are some things that you can play with. Again, let your imagination go. Use pieces that you would normally not even think about for doing roofs. As long as they have some sort of angle, definitely have fun with it. And eventually I'm going to do a brick tip on adding in dormers and some more complicated angles into your roofs. But this gives you something to start playing around with and practicing with. So I hope this video was inspiring and you found it useful. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks so much for watching. If you wish to join us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you can join the conversation there. We also have a Patreon account if you wish to support us that way. And don't forget about our Play Well Bricks 1000 contest. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic day. Keep dreaming in bricks. Bye-bye.